All right. I have this silly assumption that there's going to be 30,000 questions on the assignment. Am I correct? Or at least 7. Okay. So I'll talk about the questions that I have been asked to cover, and then let me know whether there is anything else that you need me to cover, because today is reviewing the assignment to make sure that you've all got the concepts. A couple of things. A lot of people have asked about do they have to use Access, and does the university purchase it for them? No, the university does not purchase it for them. However, you can download a free trial. Let me see. This isn't going to help you, is it? This one helps you. I have placed a link in the Facebook page that goes directly to this page, and you can click on Try Now. You don't have to buy it. Get rid of the buying now. This is actually linked to the UK rather than the Australian site. This was just one I pulled up, but you can find a lot of trial versions that are out there. However, having said that, we've gone through this process of doing skills assessment, which is why the assignment has Access and Excel in it, because there is an assumption you've built the skills and now you're going to demonstrate that you can use those skills. For those students who understand Access and Excel, and more specifically Access, but don't want to download a trial version just for a few questions in the assignment, which is the last 3. Hi, Ramsey, you made it this time. I'm going to take you through how to create the information in Microsoft Word. Now, if you're going to be answering the questions in Microsoft Word, please realize that all assignments go to external markers through an electronic device, so they're distributed evenly. So in order to have permission, you need to send me an email to get permission to actually use Microsoft Word for your relational diagrams and for your user interface design and for your tables. Okay, so you do need to have written permission, otherwise you will be penalized. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so I don't mind having the emails, except that I've got currently about 76 of the things to go through just from today. Actually, no, it's over the weekend, so I'm doing catch up. But you have the time now to actually get that written permission. You do need to have written permission to go outside the requirements of the assignment. All right. So having said that, now that you know the rules, now that you know what you must do and why you must do it, let me just take you through a couple of things. There's a few people here who are ready to submit the assignment and got a bit stuck, so I'm going to step you through that right now so that you can submit. There's a few questions coming through about the PERT charts, so I'm actually going to go back over the PERT charts and the reason why things must be in a particular order. So I'm just going to go off the top of my head with those, and I will then go through how to create questions 8, 9, and 10 in Microsoft Word. Is that suitable for everybody today? Okay, so when I take you through the assignment submission, if you've finished your assignment and you're ready to submit, I won't be offended if you jump out, rather than waste your time for an easy night. Okay, submitting your assignment. just go into the assignment link in the course content page. Can everybody see this? Last week we had a few people who could not see. Okay, Chris has submitted already. You have an opportunity, Chris. You can hang around and watch what I'm going to talk about, and then you can ask me to remove your submission, or if you're happy with your submission, then you probably don't have to hang around tonight if you don't want to. Your choice. Okay. All right. I'm going to click on the assignment link. Now, the header that must go on, this is your assignment. This is your header sheet. This is the one that does not have the macros in it. The macros were causing trouble for our in-person students, so I didn't want you guys to have that trouble as well. So this cover sheet should be used with your submission. That's so that I know who's submitting what. Right down the very bottom of the page is telling you that it must be a single PDF document. Okay, we had a number of students who had submitted, and I'm giving you examples from in-person so you don't make the same mistake. A number of students who uploaded a PDF document, and because the system allows you to upload multiple documents, they then uploaded a Word document that they'd converted to PDF, a spreadsheet that they'd converted to PDF, and then they tried to upload a database. The computer system that collects and distributes the assignments will only take one PDF document. So if there are multiple documents, it actually tells me that it can't view it, and it doesn't distribute the assignments to the markers. Therefore, I have to manually go through them and request each student to send a single PDF document. Now, we've gone through the process of capturing the screen and printing all of this information into a single Word document so that you can convert to PDF. If you are struggling, I can go back over that once I've shown you how to create things in Word. So we can do that at the end, but you will have to remind me. Or you can go back over some of the previous weeks. I think in week 9 we covered this. I'm not sure whether I covered it in week 10, and I think I covered it in week 3. Okay, so chapters 9, 10, and chapter 3. All right, down the very bottom is the submission. So this is the folder. And down here, view complete assignment. I'm going to take you through and just see if this all works because, oh, look at that, it works. I'm pretty sure I've taken you through this before, but I'm going to do it again. One of the things that's important to realize is down the bottom you have a save button and a submit button. So you need to find your assignment. So I'm going to pick on a silly picture in my samples. You find your assignment, you save the assignment, click OK, then we go all the way back down the bottom into the submit again, and this time you can see it there, and then you click on submit. All right, now if you find that, I want to remove it, now is the time to remove it, because once you have submitted, you cannot remove it. You have to ask me to remove it for you. Okay, and I will only do that when I've got something in writing that says, please remove because I've realized that I want to do something much better. Okay, and I'm going to just cancel this so that I can remove it later because I don't want to submit anything. Oh, that was silly. I should have just removed it as well. There we go. I'm going to remove it as well. And then save that. Okay, everybody happy with submission? Cool. All right. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go back into PERT charts. The issue that people are having with PERT charts, let me explain the like I'm having questions about aesthetics and I'm having questions about flows and diagrams and things. Page 117 in the textbook. Let me just open it. It almost automatically opens at this page by itself. Figure 3.27 at the bottom. What that figure shows is the flow. Now, the flow, what they have given you is just days. So for you, it's very difficult from the textbook to actually identify things. But if you look at your spreadsheet and you think of it as a calendar, okay? So say we have, what are we now? The 5th of November. And then we have, say, the 6th of November. Now, I'm doing this so that the computer can see my formatting here. Otherwise, we're going to have some problems. Just because it likes to format in everything in American dates for some bizarre reason. Okay. And I'm going to just auto-size the columns so that we can see all of the dates. Now, let's say we have task 1, and I'm going to draw it exactly the way I've drawn the tasks before, so I'm going to merge those two cells, and this is my start, and then I have a finish. Remember, for us, it is a date. I have an ID, and I have duration. And then we're just going to put some borders around this thing. Now, you can actually create a template for your borders. I'm just going to make this all borders. And then, to be a little bit more pedantic, I'm going to go in here. Now, I'll just show you what I've got. All right, so what I did was click on our, let me just do it again. Click on our borders, go to more borders, and I'm going to change the color just because this is going to be on our critical path, just to make life easy for you. Okay, so this task is on our critical path. Now, it's a little bit too high because I've used the first row with my dates. Okay, so our start date here is going to be the 5th of the 11th, 2012. Now, let's say we've got a duration of 5 days. Now, sometimes, and the reason I've put days in here is to make life a little easier because sometimes it's just hours. So 5 days on top of the 5th is going to be the 10th. So we're going to finish on the 10th of the 11th. Okay. Now, this being a calendar, per se, means that I will have my next task starting here. All right? Now I'm doing this. Remember, we've got tasks 2 and 3. So I'm going to just copy this again. Now, because we've got days here, I don't actually have to show all of these. I can hide these. All right, and that means that I've now got my tasks starting on the 10th. They're both starting straight after because our predecessor was 1 for tasks 2 and 3. Okay, so this one's going to be task 2. This one's going to be task 3. And can you see where I'm coming from here? Yes, it should be finished on the 9th. So let me just be pedantic and change this. See, you've got to be on the ball, and I can see that you are. All right. And look, there's my dyslexia for you. You can all have a good laugh. All right. Aha. Good question. So Leanne has asked, and I'm saying this because you can't actually see these comments in the recordings. Leanne has asked, what about with our 3 predecessors? Okay, so let's go and do our 3 predecessors. So along here we have, I'm just going to drag this across a few more so that we can have a bit of a play. So let's say we have task 7 here. So I'll just copy all of this. There we go. And let's say that task 7 starts on the 13th. So I'm just going to fix this up just to make life easy. It starts on the 13th and it's going to finish at some ungodly, say the 18th. Well, it won't. It'll finish on the 17th if it's 5 days. But anyway. Now, task 7. We have task 8 is going to start on the 17th. Okay. But task 9 does not start until, let me just show you there, until after task 8 has finished. So let's see, 22nd, yell at me if I get this wrong. And that means we cannot put task 9 here because we'll miss our arrows going through. We need to have task 9 above. So I'm going to put it here and it's going to start on the 22nd. And all I need to do is insert my arrows from 8 because it's got to go from 8, from 7, and way back here, let's say this was task 4. So I'm going to tasks. Hopefully it's clear enough for you. And I would have also from task 4 an arrow coming through. How's that? Does that answer the question? Okay, so we put this one in. We put this one in as a trick because normally to have a successor, these 2 should start on the same date. But in fact, they don't. Okay, we have people coming from task 4 to do this one. We have people coming from task 7 to do this one, and we're resting our people from task 8. Okay, but don't forget that you've got an arrow between 7 and 8 as well. Yes, Tracy, you're correct. So I've started everything in the wrong dates, finishing them on the wrong dates and starting them on the wrong dates. But trust me, I double-checked and triple-checked the assignment so that, no, Tracy, you'll be fine. So long as you're counting the full day and then starting the next day, you'll be fine. I'm not doing that very well in this example, am I? Okay, so that's our PERT chart. Do I have any more questions about the PERT chart? Please ensure, if it is on the critical path, that you are changing your arrows to red and that the borders are red and that anything that is not on the critical path stays black. Okay, and does everybody know how to calculate the critical path? Ramsey, do we have a problem? Okay, but you are correct. Yes, you certainly can have a PERT chart jumping from task 4 to task 9. Part of this, remember, is planning. This is part of project planning. So you're actually planning. You've got these tasks, and these are high-level tasks. When you get into creating Gantt charts, which we're not getting you to do, but when you get into creating Gantt charts, these would be milestones. And underneath those, you would have a whole lot of subtasks or activities within those tasks. So things that needed to be completed. And that's where you'll have a Gantt chart that shows you that we go across particular thing. So all we're doing here with our PERT chart is saying this one starts, then these two can start, then the next one starts. And these things are important because that's the way that our project flows. In order to start here and finish way down here at task 11, we must have all of the items that complete the task in order. In other words, the longest pathway. So if it's going to take us 3 months and 5 days to go through one flow, and it's going to take us 5 months and 3 days to go through another flow, following your arrows, you can't just jump from nothing. Okay, you must follow the arrows, so the predecessors and successors that are in the work breakdown structure. The longest path is the critical path. And all you have to do is in the critical path, if you have a look at the figure 327, down the very bottom, it is just text. So question 3 is just text saying critical path, and you're just identifying each of the tasks that are along that critical path. So that is the longest pathway, the longest time the project should take. Yes, it is. Yaroslav has asked the question about task 7. What I've shown you here is task 7, and what I said was remember that it links to task 8. So all we're doing here is linking it to task 8. Task 8 being on the critical path needs to be read. Does that make sense? Task 4 and task 5 both start after task 2 has been completed. That means they would start on the same date. That's why we have predecessors in the work breakdown structure. It's telling you this task cannot start until the previous task has completed. Is that helpful, Chris? Thanks, Ramsey. But I don't mind going over these things again because I want everybody to be clear. For the in-person students, I've had to go over them several times, and sometimes the water's still muddy when I get the assignment. Okay. Is there anything else I need to cover here in our PERT charts? Everybody's silent. Great. Thank you. All right, so I will just minimize that just in case somebody comes up with a question later. Oh, and I'm probably talking too fast. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a relational diagram using Microsoft Word. Now, I did this last week as well, so we're all on top of it, or at least should be on top of it. But I'm going to do it again. All right, so we're going to insert some shapes. That's okay, Ramsey. We've covered all this and you're pretty up with it. So feel free to go. Remember, I'm pedantic, people. Okay, thanks, Ramsey. We'll chat later. And I'm going to put this through. Now, the reason I'm putting this across here is that if you look in Access, your tables look like this. Okay, I'm going to add some text. And the text I'm going to add is, let's see, I'm going to pull something out of the textbook. I'm going to be horrible and I'm going to look at figure 938, which is on page 427. And we have some terrible things in here. The first one that I'm going to draw is the service call. Now, as I press enter, I'm going to have my label at the top. Now, the next thing we have is a call number. Now, just to stick with the standards, which is your database development standards and writing standards, I'm going to place ID there. The textbook doesn't do that, but all database training will tell you to put your ID there. You can have an underscore like that if you like, or just keep ID at the end. ID helps me to identify the primary keys and the foreign keys in our database. Under that, I have a customer number, and I have a date, and I have no space, and I have a tech number. Now, the customer number is a foreign key, so I'm putting ID after it, and the tech number is a foreign key. All right, so I'm running out of space on my desk. I'm just going to, just because I'm lazy, and it makes life easy for me, I'm going to, well, and just to prevent me having to do this all over again, I'm going to group these. So am I going too fast for people, or is this pace okay? I just don't want to have to repeat things. Okay. So clicking on all good. Clicking on all good. Clicking on group. You know what I mean. I'm not very good for somebody like me to try and do this. I'm not a good multitasker. Okay, so I'm going to change this one to customer. And here we have the customer number. We have customer last. So we all know that last is last name. We have customer first. And I'm not going to do anything else. Okay, we don't have a foreign key there. Oops. That wasn't fun, was it? Okay, I'm going to stop being pedantic. Sorry, people. All right, moving this across. I'm also going to do the technician. So, and we have the tech number, and it's an ID because it's a primary key. Not in a database, not in a relational diagram, Candice. Candice has asked, do the foreign keys have to be in italics? The foreign keys have to be in italics for question 7, which is your standard notation format. And the reason we've asked for that is we've asked for people to put that notation in there. The standard notation format does not normally have the foreign key, but we need to know that you understand where the foreign key goes before you create these tables. Okay, so then we have a tech last and a tech first. Okay. Back to our images, now shapes, and I'm going to use this little groovy shape here. So first off, we have to have our customer number, which is this one. This is our primary key, and it's going to go to our customer number ID there. And we have our tech number. So back to playing with my shapes again. Well, that was the long way around. And we've got our tech number, and that's going to go over here. Now, in this instance, I'm going to just put in the one-to-many in a text box. You should actually have the infinity symbol. So in your assignment, you would draw the infinity symbol. But here I have one. And here I have many. Okay, and then you can be pedantic and you can go to formatting and you can remove the lines and all those sorts of things. So no outline. And you can also remove the fill if you like. So no fill. And then you're becoming as pedantic as I am. Okay, so that will demonstrate to me that you know exactly how your tables should be linking. Chris, in the assignment, all three are joined. Okay, now, let me just take a few minutes. I'm going to zip into PowerPoint, and I'm going to go to a PowerPoint slide which hopefully let's see, zipping down through these, I'm pretty sure that you guys have this one. Has everybody seen this? Okay, Candice, yeah, a few of you have. Okay, so your entity relationship diagram is not going to be just two entities. Please do not just submit two entities. There are three entities. That means there are two decision boxes. That entity relationship diagram, you then take the fields. Now we've given you all of those fields, and you create the standard notation format. The only problem here is that this should be in italics, okay, because that's the foreign key. That's where your italics comes into it, okay? So hopefully that will help, Candice. And then down here, I've just demonstrated how to create from your ERD, knowing your standard notation format, and then creating these tables in Word. Okay, does that make it clearer? Now, was anybody stuck on this? Okay, so most of you have got this. All right, I'm going to go back to Word. Okay, so this is question 8 per se. So let's just clear this away. Question 9 asks you to create a data entry form. To do that, all you need to do is use shapes again. Okay, use shapes. Change your background. You can insert an image in the back here. It doesn't seem to want to do it, but anyway. Play with your images. If I insert a picture here and then I move this over the top of the picture and go to format, tell me if I'm going too fast, and I just clear the fill, I now have a picture. Okay, now you can then put in a text box. So create a text box, and this could be your label. So this would be your customer first name. All right, it's just a text box, but if I clear it, so I clear the background, I can then copy this, paste it. Now I'm going to get rid of these borders on it as well. So now I have no borders. And then this one, I'm going to put white fill. I'm going to take the text out. All right, and OMG, I now have a field. Okay. Now, for those of you who want to do some smart things like add buttons, go back into shapes, add a square. You can add text to it. You can change the color. Oh, that's not really wonderful, is it? And you can make it look like a button. Okay. So for those of you who want to play in this space, you need written permission to do this. Now, do I need to open up Access and show you how to play in this space in Access? Okay, let me jump in there. I will just open up Access for you. All right. I'm going to go into Create and create a form. Now I'm going to go to Form Design. Normally you would have all of your tables completed before you go to Form Design, but I'm just going to show you how we can play in Form Design. So I'm going to hide our navigation panel. Chris, all you have to do is print screen. So I'll show you how to do this, and then you can print screen. Okay, and I'll step you through that. Here, once we've got our form open, now you can do this anywhere, but once we've got our form open, I'm going to click on All again. Let's get back. Don't you just love this? Doesn't do what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to go back into Properties. Oops, turn the back on. And I want pictures in my background. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Form Properties. In here, I've got Picture. If I click on None, I can go to these triple dots. Can everybody see that? Because you have an arrow that's going down, but there's nothing there. But if I click on the dots, that's asking to browse. And I can go straight to my pictures. So I'm going to double click. I'm going to put my little chrysanthemum in. And that's it there. Okay. A trick if you're going to put pictures in there, edit the picture first. Okay. So open it up and change the translucency. If you're working with Microsoft 2010, you can actually open it up in a Word document and you can edit the picture within Word so that you can use some arts or formatting or things, just so that it's not this bright, so that we can actually view the text, those sorts of things. Okay, so as soon as that's there, I'm going to just close the program, the formatting, and I'm going to add some controls in here. So all I want is, say, a button. So I'm going to put a button there, and I'm going to type save on that. So you have the same flexibility, if you like, as we have with Word, and you can play with your backgrounds. So you can go to the properties and you can play with the back color, or you can play with your borders. So you can do all sorts of things with that. You can also go in here to create your text box. So that's where you're going to put information in, and this is your label over here. Okay, so and it's just going a bit too far, so we'll just move it a bit. There we go. So, and see how it's come up with grey? This is why you want to make your photograph a little bit more transparent. Okay? So we've just done exactly the same thing in Word as we have in Access. Is that going to help people? Okay. The other thing, that's correct, Leanne. When you use the wizard, but remember, I didn't create any tables. All I've done is create the form to show you how to edit the form. Okay? What I would recommend is that you create all of your tables first, use your wizard, then go in here and play with your imagery. Now, the reason I'm saying that is if you use the wizard, that is 5 out of 10. Okay? So there are things like putting buttons in, images in the background, creating logos. There's a list of 5 different things. That's 5 extra marks. Okay, and when I say 5 different things, you think about them. I've asked you for formatting. So if this was not, say this was, let's change this to phone number. All right, then I would actually go up here. Look, formatting. Oh, I don't want to worry about this. Oh, this is the other place that you can put an image in if you want the background image. So let me go back in here to design and to controls and put a label in. Now this label, this is where I would put the formatting. So I can say, this is how I want my phone to go in. All right. And remember, to make it aesthetically pleasing, you wouldn't have borders on these things. So you play with these things and give me something professional for our Oz Car Care. How does that sound? Is everybody happy with this? I'm only giving you a HD. Leanne, I would use the wizard first and then get in there and play with this stuff. Okay, the wizard's going to put everything in there nice and neatly for you. Then you go and get into design view. Yeah. So you can go into form design at any time. It's just easy for the wizard to create it for you, and then you play with all of these add-ons. This is your opportunity to get a HD. That's 5 marks opportunity for you. It's the only place in the assignment that I've actually allowed you to have some creativity and step outside the box of normal boring wizards. Okay, are there any other questions about Access that you need to know for the assignment? Remember, none of this has to work because you're not submitting a database. You're just going to print screen. All right, so what I'm going to do, because I had a question about how do we put this into our document. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this as the example. I'm going to click on the view. So to view the form, doesn't it look beautiful? There you go. How pathetic am I? All I'm going to do is use the keyboard keys. So I'm going to hold the... Now, if you want to, you could right-click. Oh, it's not going to let me copy. No, don't do that. Just do the print screen. You can... Now, print screen is going to print everything, and I'm going to show you that we've done this before. I'm going to show it to you again. Go into Word document, and I'm going to just place another page. Now, that's printing my screen. Okay, so you can see everything that's happening with the virtual class as well. But if I go back to Access and I press Alt key down and press print screen, even though holding Alt down gives me my commands up the top. So Alt print screen, do it quickly, it doesn't take the commands. And now I to paste, and it has only taken the form and the access. All I'm going to do now is I've clicked on the image. I'm going to go to Format and click on Crop. And the only thing that I want submitted doesn't it? There we go. Is this. I don't need that navigation on the side. I just want the form. Okay, so we'll just take that in. And let's be honest, we really only need this much of the form because that's where all of our information is. Okay, click on Crop again, and I now have our form. And all I'm going to do is change my word wrap to top and bottom so that I can move it anywhere around the screen. I can resize it to make it fit. Sorry, Leanne, when I hold the control key, so I'll talk you through it. What I did was when I was printing the screen above, I held the control key down and I pressed print screen. When I used this one or copied the image at the bottom, I held the Alt key down and pressed print screen. Okay, does that help everybody? I keep forgetting. Every time I press control, you disappear, or my sound disappears. Okay, so there you go. That's your opportunity for a HD. Is there anything else I need to cover? We've got about 12 minutes left. Any other doozy questions you want to ask me about the assignment? Seeing I know you're all going to get HDs. Yes, I can clear your submission. I shall do that after the class because you don't want everybody to see what it is. Sure, Chris, not a problem. Anybody else want their assignment cleared? Now, I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of email requests for getting the assignment cleared, so please email h.gray. And here I'm going to be really pathetic once again. So this is what I want you to do. Terrible, isn't it? Oh, okay, a little bit too big. All right, that's where you need to email. And that's for the benefit of everybody else who's going to watch this afterwards. Anything else? So everybody's going to get a HD, is that correct? Fantastic. Now, is everybody clear about the ERD? Everything we're challenging you with in the assignment are all of the questions that we need to test your learning, your demonstration of your learning. You do have to email me to get permission to use Word, okay? Because you're not actually demonstrating that you have the skills in Access that we've asked you to learn and then demonstrate in the assignment. All right. Anything else that I need to cover? You can all have an early mark if you like. All right, everybody's hungry and off to dinner. Brett, you can use any tool that is going to capture an image, place it in a document, and create a PDF. So long as you're capturing the image, putting it, and the reason I'm telling you Word is because it's easy. Okay? Chris, in the real world, all successes start at the same time. But the trick question that we've given you is we've given you a predecessor task that is number 7, which does not start at the same time as 8. Okay, that's just to check that you're all on the same page and that we can actually put predecessors and successors where tasks are not happening at the same time. Excuse me. In other words, if you have task 9 and 8 in the same column starting at the same time, you will lose marks. Is that clear? Brilliant. Excellent. Okay, next week I'm going to go through the exam project with everybody. Okay? So we'll start preparing for the exam. Okay, night Leanne, night Brett, night Chris, night Flora, night Raymond, night Tracy, night Yaroslav, night John Boy, night Billy Bob, night the Waltons. Good on you, Brett. All right, I'm turning recording off.